A Stanford study just showed that 66% of Crohn's patients improved their symptoms with a 5-day monthly eating protocol. And before you panic, no, you're not starving yourself. And no, this isn't another restrictive diet that makes you afraid of food. Hi, I'm Kate, and today we're talking about the fasting mimicking diet for Crohn's disease. And this matters right now because there's solid research showing real symptom improvement. But there's also a lot of confusion about what this actually involves and whether it's safe for you. Here's what I see all the time. Someone reads about fasting for gut health, gets excited about the research, and then either jumps in without proper guidance or dismisses it entirely because they're terrified of not eating. And I get both reactions. When my son was first diagnosed, the idea of him eating less seemed completely backwards. He was already struggling to maintain his weight. The thought of a fasting protocol felt dangerous. But here's what I've learned. This isn't about deprivation. It's about strategic cellular reset. The problem is, most people hear fasting mimicking diet and imagine either starving themselves or following some complicated protocol they can barely understand, let alone explain to their gastroenterologist. So let's break down what this actually is, what the research really shows, and whether it might be worth discussing with your care team. First, let's talk about what most people get wrong about this protocol. This is not traditional fasting where you consume nothing. You're eating between 700 and 1100 calories per day for 5 days. That's low, yes, but it's specifically designed to trigger the cellular benefits of fasting while still providing enough nutrition to be safe. The Stanford research wasn't looking at fasting as a cure for Crohn's. They were studying whether this protocol could reduce inflammation and improve symptoms when used alongside standard medical care. This is an addition to your treatment plan, not a replacement. Here's the reframe. Think of the fasting mimicking diet as a monthly maintenance protocol that gives your gut cells a chance to repair and regenerate. It's like pressing a gentle reset button on your digestive system. The real issue isn't whether fasting has benefits. We know it can. The issue is doing it safely, appropriately, and in a way that supports rather than undermines your overall Crohn's management. And that's exactly what this research helps us understand. Let me walk you through what you actually need to know about this protocol. So what does the research actually shows? Well, the Stanford study followed Crohn's patients who did a 5-day fasting mimicking diet once a month for 4 months. They ate a specific calorie range each day, around 1100 calories on day 1, then 700 calories on day 2 through to 5. 66% reported symptoms improvement. But here's what matters more. Researchers saw measurable changes in inflammatory markers and beneficial shifts in gut bacteria. This wasn't just people feeling better, there was actual biological changes happening. Now, it was a small study, it definitely needs more research, but the results were significant enough that it's worth understanding what's going on. So why does this calorie range, 700 to 1100, trigger cellular repair? When you reduce your calorie intake to this specific level for several days, your body shifts into what's called a cellular housekeeping mode. It starts breaking down old damaged cells and triggering the repair process. Your cells clean house. At the same time, you're giving your digestive system a break from the constant work of processing full meals. For an inflamed gut, this reduced workload can allow healing processes to catch up. But here's the key. 700 to 1100 calories is enough to prevent your body from going into starvation mode or breaking down muscle tissue. You're getting plant-based fats, some protein, and specific nutrients that support the cellular processes you're trying to trigger. It's not about deprivation, it's about precision. So what do you actually eat during the 5 days? Well, the protocol used in the research is very specific. It's predominantly plant-based with foods like vegetable soups and broths, herbal teas, small amounts of nuts, if you tolerate them, olives and avocado for healthy fats, specific supplements including a multivitamin and omega-3s. Day 1 is around 1100 calories, day 2 through to 5 drops to about 700 calories each day. Now, there are commercial kits available that provide pre-portioned foods following this exact protocol. Prolon is the main one, developed by the researchers who studied this. I'm not sponsored by them, I'm just telling you what's out there. Some people prefer to follow the protocol with whole foods based on the research guidelines. Either approach can work, but the commercial kit takes the guesswork out of it. The critical thing is this: you're following a research protocol, not just randomly eating very little and hoping for the best. So, who is this appropriate for and who should absolutely avoid it? This is where we need to be super clear. This protocol may be appropriate for adults with Crohn's who are in stable condition or mild to moderate disease, have discussed it with their gastroenterologist, are maintaining a healthy weight, don't have history of eating disorders, aren't pregnant, or breastfeeding. You should not attempt this if you are underweight or struggling to maintain your weight, have severe active disease, are a child or a teenager, have any history of disordered eating, are on certain medications that need to be taken with food, have diabetes, or blood sugar regulation issues. When my son was first diagnosed and underweight, this would have been completely inappropriate. Now that he's in deep remission and maintaining a healthy weight, it's something we could discuss with his care team if he wanted to explore it. Context matters. Your individual situation matters. Now, how to actually implement this safely? If this sounds like something worth exploring, here's the process. First, talk to your gastroenterologist. Show them the research. Ask if they think it's appropriate given your current disease status, medications, and overall health. This is not a DIY decision. Second, if you get the green light, consider starting with professional guidance. A naturopath or dietitian who understands both Crohn's and fasting protocols can help you prepare and monitor your first cycle. Third, prepare properly. The week before your first 5 day cycle, start reducing caffeine and processed foods. You don't want to shock your system. Fourth, plan your timing. Don't do this during a stressful work week or when you have major physical demands. The first cycle especially, give yourself space to rest if you need to. Fifth, monitor your symptoms carefully. Keep a journal of how you feel each day, energy levels, bowel movements, any changes in symptoms. This information is valuable for you and your care team. And finally, break the fast gently. On day 6, don't immediately go back to large meals. Start with easily digestible foods and gradually return to your normal eating pattern over a day or two. We've all heard of people that did a fast and then the first thing they did afterwards is went to McDonald's. Don't do that. The research protocol was once a month for 4 months. That's the time frame where they saw results. It isn't a quick fix. It's a methodical approach over time. So where does this leave you? Well, if you're someone who's been looking for evidence-based options beyond medication alone, this research gives you something concrete to discuss with your care team. It's not a medical cure, but 66% symptom improvement, well, that's significant. If you're already maintaining remission and looking for additional tools to support long-term gut health, this might be a monthly practice worth exploring. And if you're in active disease, underweight, or dealing with severe symptoms, this isn't your next step right now. There's no shame in that. The sane middle path means choosing the right tools at the right time, and this is the important bit, for your situation. What I appreciate about this research is that it gives you an option that's neither do nothing nor eliminate everything and restrict constantly. It's a time-limited research protocol that you do once a month and then return to normal, nourishing eating. It feels pretty sane to me. If this helped clarify what the fasting mimicking diet actually involves, share it with someone who's been asking about fasting for their Crohn's. And if you want support navigating these kinds of evidence-based options alongside your medical care, that's exactly what we do in the Crohn's method. I'll see you in the next video and have a beautiful day.